My name is Carl Hinder and welcome to the Salon Help Good to Go podcast, the podcast for salon and spa owners who are looking to grow. The only thing stopping you is you. Episode 22, Self-Accountability. Hi guys, I want to dive into accountability with you on this episode. Now, in particular, I want to talk about self-accountability. You see, accountability is all about evaluating someone's performance. Evaluating the performance, something that they're responsible for. But you might think, as a salon owner, that this doesn't apply to you, that it only applies to your staff. But you have to ask the question, who is evaluating you? Interesting, isn't it? Holding yourself accountable when you actually have no boss. That's weird, isn't it? But the thing is, it's absolutely essential, but it's tough. And how are you going to do it? How are you going to be the boss of yourself? Okay, you got to be the boss of yourself, guys. You're going to have to hold yourself accountable. You're not going to tell yourself off. You're not going to punish yourself. You're not going to frown at yourself in the mirror. But there's got to be a level of self-accountability. Of course, I know that mainly we don't do this because we love being unaccountable. Yeah, we don't want to be accountable. We started our business because we didn't want a boss. We didn't want to have to be, reporting back to anyone. So we've kind of fallen in love with no accountability at all. When you own a spa or a salon, that's one of the kind of things, and it's the thing we fall in love with, the total autonomy, that we get to make decisions about anything. We work as we want and whenever we want. It's liberating. It's such a great feeling doing what you want when you want. I think that is so addictive that it's stopping you from holding yourself accountable, because this self-addiction of total and utter freedom, well, I got to be honest, it's not good for us. It's not good for you. It's not good for any of us in business. We've got to find a pathway to self-accountability. I've coached salon owners who are absolutely addicted to a lack of accountability. And you can hear it in their voices. You actually hear it in their statements. And they say things like, we'll just see how things go. Or they say, look, I don't need to plan it. I'll find time for it. Or, I'll do it tomorrow. It's all those kinds of things. And if you think that isn't you, then let's be honest. Before you say, no, Carl, that's not me. Have you ever been in a situation where you've been late maybe for your accounts, or maybe you've left them to the last day, or maybe another legal issue like getting your taxes in with 24 hours to go, etc., etc. Because if you recognize that, and I think most of us do at some time, then you are in this kind of category of self-denial where self-accountability isn't a real thing for you. The interesting thing with self-accountability, or rather not holding yourself accountable, is that lack of discipline stops you from achieving all the things you ever wanted. It stops you from getting your time and financial freedom. It stops you from achieving your dreams. It stops you from getting controls. It stops you from reaching any ambitions that you want to. And it's also harmful to the business. It's harmful to the business. It's harmful to yourself. It's harmful to the staff and their families, by the way. And it's also harmful to your family. You see, when you're not self-accountable, in a way, it's selfish. You're being selfish in not holding yourself accountable because you're saying that your personal freedom to do whatever you want at almost any cost is okay. When deep down, and probably as you listen to this podcast, you know full well that isn't true. You only have to have a look around all businesses, in all sectors, in all industries, to see thousands of good examples of what self-accountability does for a business. Large businesses, they're all over the news. You can see the owners holding themselves accountable, and they're highly, highly disciplined. The people behind them hold themselves accountable for everything and every day. Look deeper. Think of this. Most salons that closed last year, and the year before that, and the year before that, and the year before that, the salon owners were probably addicted to free thinking, more to freedom than self-accountability. And it's always been that way. We think that having our own business means a total lack of accountability to ourselves. Let's look at it this way. Most salons that closed last year and the year before, the owners were more addicted to the freedom, to the free thinking than they were of self-accountability. And it's always been that way. So I want you to take a minute. I want you to ask yourself, are you one of these two people? So say, look, I am genuinely holding myself accountable every day, and I am self-disciplined. Can you say that about yourself? If you can, awesome and well done. Or are you more likely to be saying, actually, I'm probably a slightly different person. I do enjoy the freedom of not having any self-accountability. I like to do whatever I want, whenever I want, regardless of the results. The chances are that you are the second option, unfortunately. Now, if you're not sure, ask yourself something else. Are you likely to have the same behavior in other areas of your life where you don't hold yourself accountable? So let's look at some examples. Maybe, let's say you're a bit unhealthy. Maybe you're unhealthily overweight. Or do you smoke, take drugs, drink too much alcohol? Look, what I'm saying is, and I'm definitely not judging you, I'm not being judgmental, I'm saying, can you see the parallel? That when you've got things that are not good for you on the health side, I'm just giving you an example, it's because you don't hold yourself accountable. And the same with your business. If you have an unhealthy business, it's because you're not holding yourself accountable. Sure, there's plenty we can do about it. I can help you. I can personally hold you accountable. And you can do that by joining my accountability group at another point. But first of all, let's dive a bit further into this podcast. What I'm really doing when I start talking about the health issues, because we could be talking about your relationships, but predominantly we are talking about your business. They're just comparisons. And you might be able to see that your lack of discipline or your lack of self-accountability in one area is the same in another area. The good news is you can absolutely change your self-accountability and your overall accountability relatively easily. Now, you might have heard, you probably heard it on the TV, maybe on social media, about celebrities having personal fitness coaches. Look, it's nothing new. People have had them for years, and the sports guys have had them indefinitely. I know everyone's got one these days. Everyone's got a fitness coach, and lots of people have got all sorts of business coaches as well. But anyway, back to the fitness coach. So when that fitness coach turns up and starts working with the client to hold them accountable, they're going to show you how to gain weight. They're going to show you how to lose weight. They're going to show you how to lift weights. They're going to show you how to run. There's going to be an agreed outcome with this fitness coach. And they might at the beginning show you how to pick a weight up, or show you how to walk, or show you how to do something technical. But do you think that that coach then goes on to pick the weights up every day for them, or repeats the same action every day? Absolutely not. Of course not. That coach, that fitness coach, is not going to do the job for you. That fitness coach is there, and think about this nice and clearly, to ensure you pick the weight up. Not to pick it up for you, to ensure that you pick it up. These people aren't stupid, and I'm not talking about the coaches. These people aren't stupid people. These people don't understand self-accountability, and that's the role of a coach. And it's the same with me in business. And I'm drawing that kind of parallel, if you like, because I want you to know that there's always a way out of sorting out your lack of self-accountability. As this self-accountability kicks in, as you start to be more disciplined, you keep picking the weights up all the time, you exercise more, you go a little bit faster, etc., etc., it gets easier, doesn't it? Maybe the weights start to feel a little bit lighter, you're not so much out of breath. You might even get to look forward to it. And I'm not obviously talking about on the health side at the moment. It's exactly the same in your business. One of the key things here though is, in that fitness example, you would have to give that fitness coach permission to hold you accountable. So that celebrity in this example will have given that fitness coach permission to hold them accountable. Now we've seen it in all sorts of movies and programs where fitness coaches are literally shouting at the individuals to motivate them, to drive them to discipline. Now, if you work with me, guys, I promise you, I will never be shouting at you. But I will be trying to achieve the same sort of thing. I will be trying to get you to change your habits. And that's really what it's about. How do we change your habits so that you start to discipline yourself and say, I must go through these motions, I must take these steps whenever I'm in this situation to get the best results. In a coaching situation, I might do something like ask you to provide me with a sales report at 10 a.m. every Monday morning. Now, I'll have had your permission, I will have explained why it's important. But at 10:05, if that report hasn't turned up, I'm going to phone you and I'm going to ask you where it is. I'm going to ask you to get it for me. But the point is this. I'm not asking you for the report because I particularly want it. Sometimes I don't even need the sales figures. Sometimes I'm trying just to simply get you into the habit of getting the sales report for yourself every Monday morning. Can you see it? It's a training situation. Giving permission to someone else to hold you accountable is super powerful. Now, that doesn't have to be one-to-one. That can be done in a group as well. It can be done in a voluntary group with friends, or it can be done in a group with other professionals and maybe a coach. However, just a little note for yourselves, by the way, with employees, you don't need to get their permission. This is a totally different arrangement. You automatically have permission to hold employees accountable by virtue of the agreement, of the contract, of your relationship, which basically says, I've got some tasks that I need you to carry out and I'm paying you for them and you must do them in a certain standard. Okay, so don't think that you need your staff to give you permission. I'm talking about when maybe you and I are working together. You need to give the business coach permission to hold you accountable. If you want to know more about my business accountability group, just take a look in the show notes or drop me a line on info@salon-help.co.uk. Look, we have an amazing setup. We have an amazing group of people working towards their own objectives. You would be more than welcome to absolutely join us. Now, it's going to change your outlook. It's going to change your outlook on business. It might even change your outlook on life. But meanwhile, that's all for this week. Thank you so much for joining me on the Salon Help Good to Go podcast. Please take a look in the show notes for all the links. Please leave me a review and let other salon and spa owners know that we're here every Sunday at 4 p.m. I look forward to catching up with you on the next episode.